What you know about being poor? What you know about borrowing from your neighbor next door? What you know about bum rides? What you know about having to swallow your pride? What should you do when you're through? When you're always helping people but nobody's there for you? What should I do or say when you're constantly there standing in my face talking about, can you loan me $20 till I get my check next week? Said I only have $20 and me and my baby, we gotta eat. That'll do, donkey. That'll do. Okay, here we go. This week, we are looking at having low finances. Like most of us out here, a lot of us out here, I shouldn't say most of us because I don't really know, but a lot of us out here trying to make ends meet. Yeah, so we can't afford maybe the big time purchases that we see some of the top YouTube channels, you know, flaunting on their screens week in, week out. These 5 grand, 6 grand, 10 grand cameras with 12 gram lenses, you know. We have to make do, maybe with an M50. But, you know, it is what it is. And an M50 has been a great camera, you know, for street photography, which is what I use it for. I've had it for about 9 months now. It's been a great camera. And in the light of the RP coming out, the Canon RP, which is a full frame mirrorless for $1,300, those of us who are on stretched budgets are looking like this. We're looking with our eyes wide open because we're seeing something now that we've not seen before. So, being a M50 shooter, I thought, and seeing some of the daft comments that have been put forward by some of those YouTube channels, some of those so-called photography channels that are really working on the power of nightmares. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go back and watch my last episode. You know, those top scarers, you know, P. Sullivan, was it James P. Sullivan? Top scarers, whose job it is to go out there and scare you all into, you know, what they want you to buy, which is, you know, some of them big time stuff. But anyway, I thought, since looking around and not really seeing anything on the RP that's, well, there's one or two, I shouldn't lie. There's one or two, I've seen one or two YouTubers, and it's usually the really small YouTubers that are, you know, really putting the argument for the RP or why the RP should be considered or could be considered. So me being a small YouTuber with my 13 subscribers, I know which stream I'm in. So I thought, let me see, as a M50 shooter, if I could make the case for upgrading to a Canon RP. Yeah. So I said, this is a brilliant machine. This M50 it has done its job excellently. However, each camera is a compromise. Each system is a compromise. You have to compromise something in order to get what you want to get. You know, there's going to be something you're going to lose out on. So I've been looking at the compromises of the M50 for me. And I'm speaking about for me and those who are in my position, because obviously there are some people who are happy completely 100% with their M50. And you know, I don't wrong them because it's a very good camera. Best-selling mirrorless of 2018, remember? So anyway, I've got some notes down here. Making the case for the RP as a M50 shooter. The first one has got to be the first thing that kind of frustrates me when I'm on the streets using this is the fact that you have to toggle between shutter, aperture, and compensation. there's only one wheel. I don't know if you can see that. There's one wheel right here on the front. And that does the shutter. And you toggle it on the back, and then it does the aperture. You toggle it again, and then it does the compensation. And if you are trying to get something really quickly, it's so annoying. It's very annoying. And I've missed shots because, well, underexposed shots because I haven't been able to switch aperture or shutter quick enough because it's been left on the wrong one of those three. You know, it might be on compensation, then I've messed up the compensation, and I have to fix the compensation, go back, toggle it, then, you know, and by that time, what I'm trying to shoot is gone. So that is, that's a gripe. No, actually, it's more than a gripe. It is frustrating. It is frustrating. And that forces me to maybe put it on aperture priority when I really want to shoot on manual, you know, or put it into a setting that I don't necessarily want. And if your camera is going to be a tool, it's supposed to work for you, not the other way around. So that is I think that's a major one for an upgrade. The RP being an upgrade of usability. It may not be an upgrade in technical specs. In some cases, it might be, but in usability, I believe the RP is a good upgrade because it has the separate wheel for the aperture and the separate wheel for the shutter, and it has a separate wheel for is it separate for the compensation? I'm not sure if it's got one for compensation, but it definitely has two. It has the two wheels there, so that will be an upgrade for me. That will be a worthwhile upgrade for me. The one wheel versus the two wheel, you know, and the two wheel is obviously gonna be a better deal. I'm making rhymes here. It's obviously gonna be a better deal than the one wheel. So that's a good one. The second reason, a second good point to make the case for the upgrade from the Canon M50 to the RP, the Canon RP, would be obviously the three modes, the custom modes, the three custom modes that are on the top wheel. The M50 doesn't have any. Doesn't have. I'm looking to make sure. Doesn't have one custom mode, you know. The RP has three custom modes, just like with the 5D and the 6D and the 7D. You know, they've got. If you look on the top here, you can see that. Can you see? Is it focusing? It's got three custom settings on the mode dial, and that is so powerful. Those of you who have used it, I mean, it may sound like not much, but once you get used to setting up your environments, you can set up different environments. You can set up different white balances, you know. You could set one to, if you're in an event, which I've been in events where there'll be different rooms, there'll be different parts, or they'll be moving from a dark environment into a light environment. And on the M50, you would have to reset your shutter and your aperture and your white balance every single time, and then when they go back, then they have to reset it, and it's frustrating. To be able to set up different, you know, white balances, different AV mode, TV mode, you know, servo, and just at a flip of a button, flip, you know, something happens, you moved, flip, doesn't make that sound. Flip, that's just me, I didn't, flip, it just makes it so much of a joy to be able to suddenly change settings once they're set, you know, on the modes, which is just brilliant. So the Canon RP has that, and I'm telling you, just those two things that I've mentioned so far, you know, the separate aperture wheel and the separate shutter wheel and the three custom modes is a usability upgrade of nth degree coming from something like this. It just takes it into another realm. And to link with that, the custom three buttons, the third thing that I've got down here as a reason why, or a good reason to upgrade, is back button focus. Oh my God. people, as I said, some of these things just don't sound like a lot. But when I shoot events with my 5D or my 6D, I use back button focus. Back button focus is when whenever you press the shutter halfway down, your camera will try to focus on something. So that means if you want to take a shot really quickly, it has to delay for a second or two, or a microsecond or however long, till it gets to focus, and then it takes a shot. You take another shot, it will do the same thing. With back button focus, you take that half press focus off the front of the shutter, and you put it on the back. That way, when you press the AF on at the back, can you see that? There's an AF on button right there. Yeah, because that's where you set it. Don't know if you can see that. When you press that with your thumb, that's when the camera focuses. You take your thumb off, and then it stops focusing. The minute you press the shutter, then it will take the picture. The minute you press the shutter button, there will be no delay. So you can take 10 photos. If that person or the object or the target hasn't moved, you can take 10 photos, and it will take them. There will be no delay. If the object starts moving, you press the back button again, and it will focus. You keep your finger on it, and it will be in servo focus. It is brilliant. Trying to do it with M50, it can be done, but because where this is the button that you're going to remap on the back, where it is set, I don't know if you can see that, yeah, you're going to use this little asterisk button here. Yeah, that's an aperture lock button usually. You're going to use that button, but where it's set on the M50, it's not under your thumb. So if you're going to have to keep your thumb over in this kind of weird angle. Can you see that? And it just doesn't feel comfortable having your thumb there like that, or balance it, holding your thumb up in the air like this. The camera could even just slip out of your hand. So it's not practical to set up back button focus on an M50. So RP now is more set traditionally. I haven't got one here in my hands, but it's the AF on button is more closer to your thumb, and therefore it would make back button focus more doable, which is what you want. There's a video also that I want to tell you about. I don't know if you've watched this. There's a video on back button focus on steroids. That's what it's called. Back button focus on steroids, and it's by a YouTuber called Mitch Unger, A-U-N-G-E-R. Mitch Unger. I hope I'm saying your name right, Mitch. If you don't know about back button focus and the 3 mode dials, you need to watch that video, because I'm telling you, it will change the way you do photography infinitely, you know. And I've been coming across people who don't know about back button focus, or they don't really understand how powerful the 3 custom modes are on their camera, and how powerful, how it absolutely changes the way you address things. So just imagine having that on the street now. 3 custom modes and back button focus, and that's where the EOS RP puts you. So it is, as I said, it's an upgrade of usability, if not technology, you know. So definitely a good one there. How many have I said? Toggling between shutter and aperture. The 3 custom mode dial setting buttons. Back button focus. And it's full frame. That's a big one. That's a biggie. That's the major one. That's the one that's got everybody's eyes open. It's a full frame camera. And it's not necessarily about, you know, people talk about crop frame cameras are just as good as full frame cameras now, and, you know, the low light ability and all that. I'm talking about the actual physical size of the sensor and being able to fit more things in, you know. Sometimes I'm on the street with this 24mm. Like that. Can you see that? I have to stand out of the way to make it focus. 24mm EF glass on this crop frame M50, and that works out about 30, 38, something like that, 38mm full frame. So I'm still not getting that street photography 35mm focal length with this. It's still a bit tighter. So I would like to be able to fling my 35L glass on and get 35mm, you know, instead of getting nearly 50, or is it 50? Or over 50. I'd like to be able to fling my 24mm EF glass on and get 24, you know? And it could be said you could go and get the M lenses. But the problem with getting the M lenses, which is why I haven't got any at the moment, so if you get an M lens, and they've got some good lenses, the 22mm is a good lens, and the 32mm, which is very expensive by the way, is a great lens. But if you go that route and go and buy the M glass, you're stuck with the M glass. You can't use it nowhere else. If you're happy with your M50, then cool. But the reason why I've stuck with EF is to keep my options open, so I'm more flexible. If I go and buy a RP, I got the glass already. Just transfer it over with the adapter. Perfect. If I want to go and buy a RF lens at some point, which I'm sure I would, maybe not now, maybe not even a year, maybe not 2 years, who knows? But I don't need to. I've got all the lenses I need already. So the RP, the Canon RP, is actually a very good move for me, or people like me who are in that position. It's very small. It's slightly bigger than the M50, but it's a lot smaller than the 6D2, which is what I'm filming with right now. It's lighter. It ticks all the boxes. So when you look at it like that and take all the technicality out of it, which everybody else is bashing, the specky techies are bashing, it's actually a good move. It's actually quite a good move, you know. And I could see myself getting an RP, maybe not for now, you know, maybe at the end of the year or the beginning of next year. I can't see it happening now, but for the future, I think that's a great move, you know. So every camera is a compromise. I use my mirrorless for street photography. That's where I'm moving with it. I'd like to keep a different camera for different genres or subgenres of photography. And the Canon EOS RP, I think, personally, with the price, it's kind of like the photography, Canon's full-frame Volkswagen Beetle that everyone can have. Canon's full-frame Volkswagen Beetle, a camera designed for everyone, you know. And I like the look at that 35mm RF glass that they got as well. So I'm going to keep an eye out on that. I haven't actually put my hands on the RP yet. I went to the shop yesterday. They didn't have it. That's the next thing. I'm going to get my hands on it. And we'll take it from there. Who knows what may happen. It's all good. But it's a camera for those of us who are on a tight budget, you know, the $20 and all. It's all good. I think I'm going to end with some street photography slideshow. I went out yesterday, day before yesterday, with my M50. Just snapping some shots, man. The M50 is really cooking at the moment. And that's another thing. I don't really want to get rid of this thing. It's really cooking at the moment. So I think I'm going to end with a little slideshow. Show you what this baby can do. It's all good. It's all good. It's all good. There's going to be no music. No backing tracks. It's just raw, you know. I shoot raw. Well, actually, I shoot JPEGs with this, but it's all raw. This channel is raw. No music underneath it. No B-roll. No coffee montages. No 120 frames per second. Try and keep it photography. It's all good. Till next time. What you know about being poor? What you know about borrowing from the neighbor next door? What you know about bumming rides? What you know about borrowing? It don't go like that, does it? What you know about being poor? What you know about borrowing from your neighbor next door? What you know about bum rides? What you know about having to swallow your pride? What do you do when you're through? When you always helping people but nobody's there for you? What can I say when it's done? When you're always standing there staring in my face, saying, can you loan me $20 till I get my check next week? See, I only have $20 and me and my M50 got to eat. See, lend me $20 till I get my check next week. See, I only have $20 and me and my baby, we gotta eat. Can you lend me $20 or 20 quid till I get my check next week? See, I only have $20. Actually, 20 quid is more than $20, isn't it? See, I only have $20. Is it $20 more than 20 quid? 20 quid is more than $20. See, I only have 20 quid till I get my check next week. Doesn't have the same ring, does it? See, I only have $20. Lend me $20 till I get my check next week. See, I only have $20 and me and my baby, we gonna eat. Can you lend me $20 so I can buy a 5D Mark IV?